Gill, Philemon 2. Scripture quote, "Into our beloved Aphia," unquote. The Alexandrian copy reads, "To Sister Aphia," and the Vulgate Latin version, "To the beloved Sister Aphia," for this is a woman's name, and it is thought that she was the wife of Philemon, since she is placed next to him and before Archippus, a minister of the word, and very prudently is she wrote to and justly commended, in order to engage her to use her interest with her husband to receive his servant again, who otherwise might have stood against it and been a very great hindrance to the reconciliation. This clause is wanting in the Ethiopic version. Scripture quote, "And Archippus, our fellow soldiers," unquote. For this Archippus was a preacher of the gospel at Colles, and it was manifested from Galatians 4:17. Wherefore the apostle styles him a fellow soldier, and though his character belongs to private Christians who are enlisted as volunteers under Christ, the captain of salvation, the fight under his banners against sin, Satan, and the world, being girded with the whole armor of God, and are more than conquerors through Christ that has loved them, yet it very eminently belongs to the minister of the gospel, who are more especially called unto to endure hardness as good soldiers of Christ, to war a good warfare, to fight the good fight of faith, and besides the above enemies common to all believers, to engage with false teachers and earnestly contend for the faith of the gospel, that so it may continue with the saints. Now this man was in the same company and in the same service, engaged in the same common cause, against the same enemies, and under the same captain, and was expecting the same crown of immortality and glory, and therefore he calls him his fellow soldier. And he likewise inscribes his epistle to him, that he might make use of the interest he had in Philemon and his wife to bring this matter to bear. The apostle writes, Scripture quote, "And to the church in thy house," unquote. Not in the house of Archippus, but in the house of Philemon, and designs not the church at Colles, as though it is meant at his house, but his own family, which for the great piety and religion which were among them, and for the good order and decorum in which they were kept, were like a church of themselves. And here again the apostle writes the wise part in order to gain his point by taking notice of them, who might some of them have been injured or affronted by Onesimus when with them, and so entertain some resentment against him, and might put a bar in the way of his reception into the family again. End of Philemon 2.